Welcome everybody. This is Living Waters Christian Fellowship, and today I'm interviewing Dalton, Pastor Dalton, and I'm excited because I've been encouraging him to step out in the ministry that he's very familiar with, and so I wanted to ask some questions today about this new ministry you're starting.
Well, thank you. I think it's a great opportunity to talk about something that is very, very important. And part of the problem is that we've allowed it to slip away from us, and we're not really focusing on root issues or problems. So I'm looking forward to this conversation and hopefully introducing it to some of our viewers and how they can benefit from it.
So to begin with, without going into a lot of detail yet, is you're planning on forming a cell group, like?
Yes.
And for marriages.
For married couples.
Married couples. And in that, you're hoping to not only help them, but also mentor new cell groups too? Or?
Absolutely,
So we're trying to build something for the community that helps reach people that are hurting.
Yeah. So a little background into that. It would be a home-based, small group, almost cell group, like group. And that group would be open to married couples, but also to premarital couples. So they can get an idea from the couples that are married and teach each other, if you will. And then we would splinter off into other groups, of which would be born from that small cell group. So we would have smaller cell groups scattered in the local area where other groups could benefit.
And we're basing this off the Bible.
We are, yes. Primarily, we want to stay focused with what the Bible has to say about couples. And there are a lot of interesting stories. We don't often hear about what the wife of a particular individual might have had to say. The Bible does reveal some of that, but it's nice to delve deeper, to have those conversations and interact, if you will, from the point of view of how we connect with those individuals. So we then get the opportunity to really explore what married couples were doing and what are doing.
Amen. And so your background, and I'll just kind of grab a little bit of it, is that you were in a fairly large church.
Yes.
And you were teaching.
Yes.
So explain some of the areas around this that you were teaching couples.
Yeah. So the church that helped me to develop a love of this ministry, it was a very large church. We had to be certified, and it was based on small group meetings where married couples could come together and have conversation about Bible study and see how they fit in, how that role would work for them today as a couple. Also, the same ministry were involved in premarital classes. So those that are getting ready to be married would attend the class and, if you will, get a deeper understanding of the role of the husband, the role of the wife before the big I do. And I think it's a beautiful thing. We benefited from that class, both me and Dina. Dina would be my partner in this. And we benefited greatly. We went through the curriculum and had a very deep understanding of what it would look like as a husband and as a wife. And we have continually maintained what we learned through those classes as husband and wife.
So you've been either in classes or teaching classes or in groups for many, many years. Many,
many years, yeah. It is a very exciting place to be because you can actually see the benefit of the class. And as a student, it helped me understand the needs. And as a teacher, how to best bring the effects of what we can learn as a body into a place of reality that works for us today. And I think it's very, very important. I mentioned that earlier on. if I might.
Go ahead.
I believe that families today are in decline. A recent study by the Pew Research Center, in 1970, they gave us a result that 70% of Americans today, aged between 25 and 49, living with a spouse with a children. In 2021, that same study was done, and that percentage, 70%, had dropped to 37%.
Wow.
They then admitted the family is indeed in decay, and the time of the family is coming to an end. I refuse to believe that. I believe that a family, the nucleus, the center, is the couple, the husband and the wife.
Right.
And I think if we strengthen that, we would see a rise in that number. Not saying that we should go back to an old way of doing things, but there are some very key points that seem to have been missed. Communication, trust. And I do want to hold fast to faith, and I am moved by a couple of scriptures. Can I quote them?
Sure, absolutely.
So Romans 12 and 10 tell us, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourself. What a great thing to have as a platform for a couple.
Right.
The second one is a little bit more wordy, but it comes from Ephesians 5, 25 and 29. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, and give yourself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, for no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church. What a profound thing to hold tight.
Amen.
And I truly believe that. Yeah.
Amen. That's okay. Now I'm going to ask some hard questions that we didn't plan this out as like, these are the questions, but if I was doing it, these are the questions I'd ask. So I'm just going to pretend I'm coming to your class, and this is before I sign up and join and participate. What does it feel like? When I say feel like, the flavor as for, are we, if there's crisis in the family, we're not dealing with that in a group setting, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And so, is it more of diving into the Bible and sharing how your views are of what the Bible's saying, and then correcting it? What does it feel like? Because walking in the door, you're like going, well, we have to expose everything. What's going on?
All right. So I think a good way to answer that question is, what exactly are we trying to do? What is Dean and myself working at? So our goal, the main focus of the ministry, is to create a safe setting environment, a small group environment, as we mentioned before, where as a group, we can take a look at the Bible and we can deep dive into couples, if you will, that come to us from the Bible, where we can study what they were doing, how they were doing, what was said, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And then we can also take it to a place of conversation where we can discuss what we have learned, and then turn that around to how can we practically use what we have learned in the Bible study in our own marriage and our own relationship. And if we're joined with unmarried couples, they get a first-hand opportunity to how that plays out. And having that good conversation is a good way to practice in a safe setting. When we go home, we can now practice communication, open communication, trust, relationships that are not hidden by some of the things that couples are being attacked with daily. So I think it's a great way to begin to nurture those good natures within this safe Bible study.
It sounds exciting.
I think it is exciting. I think that there is nothing more alluring, if you will, if I might use that word, than when couples can come together and use experience and then relate it to what they've learned in the Bible, then take that at home and practice it. So you get homework along with that, you know? Well, what did you learn today? How can I utilize that? So it's an opportunity to revitalize the marriage, bring a sense of freshness into the marriage, and allow yourself to not be afraid, because it's a safe environment. Anything that is said there stays there. If we do detect something, obviously there are opportunities for us to take that to a professional level where couples might need help and provide that help for them as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And this isn't just like for our church, this is open to anybody's,
It's
correct?
open to anybody's church, and couples are completely at ease to come and ask to be members.
I think it's exciting because we've been doing some other things in the community.
Yeah.
And as we've been doing it, it's for me, it's wonderful to hear people's perspective from the church they're in, which is fine. That's not the issue. It's just knowing how they get to hearing God and praying and how to relating to each other. So for me, it's exciting that everybody's bringing something new into the group also. Is that true?
Absolutely true. And because of some of the people in the church, in other ministries, we've got some great couples in our church, and there will be opportunity to hear them as our guests.
Right.
So not just diving directly into the Bible, but also an opportunity to hear from some couples, great couples, working here in our local area that would provide a great example of husband and wife. And all that means. I think it's very exciting because we can look forward to seeing some couples that are actively doing what they need to be doing. And it's interesting when we say couples, there's so many different examples of what that means, but for the foremost to keep in mind is that these are people that love and care deeply for each other and understand over the years what it has meant dealing with all of the challenges. There will be challenges.
Oh yeah. It's not a nice, smooth ride the whole time.
No, it's not a smooth ride, and we won't say that. We're going to say that you become like a sea captain. You know how to navigate the byways, if you will, the currents, so on and so forth. So looking forward to being a host of this.
That's good. That's exciting. So when are you starting?
Well, we had planned to start a month ago.
Okay.
However, we can take a look at within the next 30 days to completely get this going.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you, Dalton.
It's
this
my
is exciting.
pleasure. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank
really
you,
appreciate
everybody
it.
watching, and you can contact the church if you want to get a hold of Dalton.
Yes.
And once we get this stuff out on Facebook, and as we're starting to put the not so much advertising, just exposing what is available in our community. If you're looking for something.
Absolutely. And if I may, something for the viewers is oftentimes people can believe that they're too old or they're too young, that there is something going on. You know, you were never too old to learn something new. And I think in creating a safe environment where we can explore the avenues, maybe something you're experiencing, maybe it's something that you've thought about doing, it's a safe way to begin to explore opportunities to refresh a marriage. Couple doing Bible study together is a great way for just refreshing a marriage.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, and look forward to interviewing some more and getting more information.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.